Good evening, guys. I am so sorry for the delays. Actually, I I went to initiate MAC116 instead. I actually thought that was what we were having first. We have three classes tonight, so mixed the three up. So sorry, I'm making the correction now. So we start MAC132. That is what we have first. Uh, Let me ask this simple question: what was the last thing we did in this class before we start anything? The last thing we treated in Mark 132. Yes. And I must apologize for the break in connection for the past 2 days. I actually traveled. I just returned back to my base now, and so we are good to classes will resume fully now. Oh, no, 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 no. Okay. Yes, who is reminding us that what did we do last in Mark 132? Yes, thank you, Dora. Uh, Good evening, Francisca, Benedicta, Peter, Sadiq, Miriam, Pretty. Okay, I think that should be Fatima customized. And Fatima was saying, everyone online, good evening. You're welcome to class. What was the last topic we treated in Principles of Advertising and Sales Promotion, Mark 132? Will someone remind us kindly the last thing we did in this course so that we will resume from there? Let me share my material. If you guys have been following, I believe you will know where we stopped. So, yes, who is giving us that? We are talking about, I think in the last class we've done the overview. Probably we are to resume with the processes. Yes, let me hear from you guys. What was the last thing we did? Yes, we have done objectives, we have done promotion, we have done advertising. I'm so sure of that. Marketing strategy, tactics, that marketing strategy, tactics. We've done marketing, we've done strategy. I don't know if we have done that. Let me hear from you guys, please. So we just start from where we're supposed to continue. Yes, Fatima. So, guys, nobody is telling me where we stopped. Somebody said we stopped at AppCon. Thank you. So let's go to AppCon. Mm, it means in in this course. Even the AppCon you said that should be first. That should be the first. I think this is what we will do. This is what we will do. You guys should just allow us to search the place out. Okay, thank you. So we are to start from marketing strategy, tactics, and technique, and then the USP. So that this is where we stop. Thank you. Who was that person that mentioned AppCon? Okay, thank you. We've done the basic concept, which was We've done promotion, advertising. Apart from marketing, we want to look at the meaning of each of the words like marketing, strategy, tactics, technique, and USP. Let's start from marketing. Marketing is often viewed in terms of individual activities that constitute the overall marketing process. Individual activities that constitute overall marketing process. Now, what is the marketing process? According to Belch and Belch in 2007, one popular conception of marketing one popular conception of marketing views it as primarily involving sales. Well, it's very common and likely that when you hear market or marketing, what comes to your mind is a form of selling, like sales of a product or anything. That one is basic. Like basically, that was what will come to your mind when you just hear marketing something. You think like it's trying to promote something so that you sell it. So that Belch and Belch definition, one popular conception of marketing, but that's not really a definition. They're just trying to say people have that conception when they hear marketing. What comes to their mind is sales. That means selling something. Well, to some other people, marketing may seem as constituting of advertising or related activities, while for some, what comes to mind as marketing is market research, pricing, or product planning, and so on. What we are trying to, you know, stress here is that people have different conception when they hear the word marketing. To some, it's just sales that comes to their mind. To some, it is advertising that comes to their mind. To some, it's research that comes to their mind. And of course, to some, it's pricing and product planning that comes to their mind. And so on. There are quite a lot of things that come to people's mind when they hear the word marketing, based on their field of interest and their knowledge and experience. That is what would make you to think of marketing the way you think about it. If I should ask each of you now, without looking at the definition in the material, DB will started the class by asking the question, what is marketing according to you? You'll see different answers flying in based on what people had as experience before this class. So a definition of marketing given by the American Marketing Association. I hope I didn't start in the wrong place. I hope we started from the right place, please. That is very important. Yes, good evening, Kenneth Chukwu. You're welcome. So, according to AMA, American Marketing Association, let's take a short icebreaker before we take the definition of marketing. You people should be ready to type tonight. We have a lot of icebreaker to be taken tonight. So, AMA, that is American Marketing Association, sees marketing as the process of planning and executing the conception, pricing, promotion, and distribution of ideas, goods, and services to create exchanges that satisfy individual and organizational objectives. Well, what we are just trying to say here is that AMA's definition of marketing tries to cover everything marketing seems to be all about. Marketing is all about pricing, it's all about planning, it's all about promotion, it's all about distributing ideas or goods, distributing services to create. Why are you distributing those ideas or goods? Come and say, oh, we are selling Indomie. Why are you doing it? Are you doing that? Come and say, oh, I'm a teacher. Oh, I can teach very well. Come on. Why are you doing that? Why are you distributing that idea or that good or those goods or those services? Why are you distributing them? You are distributing them to do something. You want to create exchange between who and who, an individual who is a potential customer and the organization that is producing those goods, those ideas, those services. So while you are showcasing the product, you are trying to create exchanges. What are the key points to hold in the definition of AMA of the word marketing? First, We have planning and executing. That is number one. Then another key thing to remember there is that we have distribution, and then we have create exchanges. Three important things that makes you remember once you see them in a definition in exam, that what they're asking you is the definition of marketing by AMA, is that you will see the word planning and executing, distribution of ideas, goods and services, and creating exchanges. So those are important things you can use to hold the definition of marketing according to AMA. And I think I will take another icebreaker. So I've highlighted it so that you can read it yourself and try to understand what it is all about. Okay, so I have a question to ask you guys. Oh, I I think that will not work. So no. Okay, I have a question there. You guys should try to attempt it. That's an icebreaker for you. So while you are doing that, let's move to the word strategy. What are we trying to do? We have talked about advertising. And when I just want to go back a bit to refresh our brain so that when we are talking about marketing strategy, tactics, techniques, USP, you don't get confused that what is all this one? Where did we even learn? Where did we get? How did we find ourselves here? How we find ourselves here is that we were originally talking about advertising. And after discussing what advertising means, we've talked about different definitions by different people, including APCON, that defines advertising as a form of communication through the media about products, services, or ideas paid for by an identifiable sponsor. But we know that the process of advertising involves a lot of things, wide activities. So some of those activities will be marketing, strategizing, tactics, techniques, and then the USP. So we need to look at each of them one by one individually, so you know what they are and the role they probably play in advertising. So that is how we landed in marketing, strategy, tactics, technique, and USP. And so far, we have done justice to marketing. We move to strategy. What is strategy? And especially in relation to advertising. I hope you guys have answered the last. Okay, let them keep coming in. I want you guys to be very active in the chat box, please. It's very necessary. Now, strategy can be viewed as a key component of marketing planning. Now, I want you to know that when we talk about marketing, marketing is an action part of that advertising, whereas strategy is a planning phase. That one is behind the scene before you enter the scene and start, displaying those marketing products and pricing, promotion, and the rest of them. Strategy is a key component of marketing planning. While you are still planning how to go about the marketing, that is where strategy comes in. What type of audience do you want to sell to? The potential customers that you are looking for, what is their nature? Where can you best find them? Which kind of approach you use in the marketing? All those questions will be answered in the strategy phase of your planning. So strategy basically deals with planning. In terms of marketing planning, once an objective has been set, the means of achieving the objectives must be determined. So once you set the objective, this is what we want to uh, do, and this is what we want. Okay, let me just say this is what we want. Then the next thing you need to talk about, of course, when you already know what you want, what will be the next thing your mind will be working on? How do you get what you want? Once you know what you want, the next thing is how do you get what you want? That is what will be your mind. So in the terms of marketing, in terms of marketing planning, that means in terms of planning how to the role strategy plays is that it helps us have something we want to achieve, which we call objective. Then strategy help us create the perfect means of achieving that objective or those objectives. Strategy is the process of determining how set objectives can be accomplished through process of considering the three key elements. The three key elements. Let me just stop there. Let's just see that strategy therefore is the process of determining how. Now let's take this practically and use ourselves for example. Now, in the previous semester, we decided or we actually aimed and set objectives for ourselves that we all want A1 in our courses all through. And so we decided to form a group. We communication A1. We started strategizing how we want to do it. Well, we found out that we didn't have enough time in that previous semester. And so that really contributed to some exams. So this semester we decided that okay, our objectives now we want to reinstate it. That means we still want A1 in our courses parallel. We still want about 10, 15 of us to have A1 parallel in our courses. So we've determined objectives. It now remains how do we achieve it. That was when we started brainstorming and we felt like okay, let's strategize this way. What if we start the class early? What if we start holding classes every day and make sure we start early before they will even start thinking of exam? We would have covered all the materials and all will be remaining for us is just to be revising and revising. What are we doing? We are strategizing on how to achieve our objective, which is A1 parallel. Now that's the same thing. Once you have a product you want to sell, you want to market, and you have objectives. Okay, we want to sell 1,000 pieces of this our product in 1 week. That is your objective. The strategy to achieve selling that amount will now come in. You start planning on how to make that objective a reality. That is where you will need strategy. That is why strategy is the process of determining how set objectives can be accomplished through the process of considering the three key elements. What are the key elements? Target market, competitor target market, and establishing a competitive advantage. We will learn the meaning of them. We will learn the meaning of each of them rather as we go on in this course. But basically, you should know what target market means. The people you are targeting to sell to. Then competitor target market, people that are into the same business with you and the people they are targeting. Then the establishing a competitive advantage over your uh, business concubines, or what are we going to call them now? Now, there are 6 tests of effective strategy. I have another icebreaker so that it doesn't feel like I'm just a talkative.